Our next guest, Chef Tanya Holland, will show us how to recreate restaurant dishes at home because nutritious foods can be delicious. So, Brown Sugar Kitchen is the creation of executive chef Tanya Holland, who brings her exceptional culinary skills, creativity, and love of hosting and feeding people to the restaurant. Chef Holland received her formal French training from La Varenne École de Cuisine in Burgundy, France, has an extensive culinary background, and has been the recipient of many distinctions, honors, and awards. Chef Tanya, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Hi, thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you. So let's get to talking about food. One of the ways in which we define culture and understand the world is through what we eat. I know that that's very true for myself. So how can our viewers keep this joy surrounding food while being mindful of nutrition?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that made me fall in love with my work is that it's a great way to understand cultures and to just be adventurous without going too far. And since we can't go very far right now, it's good that we have the opportunity to be adventurous with food. And making it healthy for me starts with the ingredients that you select. So the best quality ingredients that you can afford. If you can afford organic, certainly that matters. In particular, with certain ingredients, and fish that's sustainable, meats that are not commodity meats but are local. And then you can get all sorts of fresh flavor and, make it good even if it's healthy.
Yeah. So, and with that, studies
Yeah.
suggest that eating seasonally can be a really healthy way to approach our diets. How do you approach that at Brown Sugar Kitchen, and how would you recommend our readers doing so at home?
Yeah, again, as much as possible, we try to be seasonal. So I have a vendor that runs a produce list, and I look at it daily to see what's seasonal. And then when I call in the order, they also have a reminder. We just got these new, cucumbers from Comanche Creek, or we got, plums from, they call out the farm. And then I also like to visit the farmers markets and the grocery stores. Fortunately, being in California, we have access to a lot more seasonality, but in other parts of the country as well, the farmers markets are becoming more prevalent. You could also go look at your favorite restaurants' menus, a lot that are chef driven. A lot of chefs also try to work very seasonally.
Thank you. And I'd like to ask you about access to these foods. So in your first episode of Tanya's Table podcast with Questlove, the two of you speak to the importance of modernizing the soup kitchen model to increase access for those that are food insecure. What can our viewers here do today to support this effort?
Well, there's a lot of great food banks out there that support the soup kitchens. A lot of food banks will get seasonal produce because they get the overages. So, if a particular farmer has maybe produced too many tomatoes or whatever, a lot of times that will go to the food banks. And so if you can find out what, nonprofit that you support gets their food through that food bank, that could be a way to do it.
Yeah, and we can all do some research locally and see what nonprofits we can support around food insecurities, which would be amazing.
It's really important. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And because nutritious food can be very delicious, I know that you have a little bit of a surprise for us in your kitchen. So I'll kick it over to you to show us what's cooking in your kitchen.
Absolutely. Really simple. And especially when I'm cooking for myself at home alone, it's just really simple, usually like a protein and veg. There's a lot of temptations at work. And so I have this beautiful salad. These greens are from a local farm. It really makes a difference in the taste of the greens, and I have some cucumbers and radishes, which are, you can get this. These are like grown in a hothouse, so they're not really seasonal. I like to serve them with the blackened catfish, which I'm going to pull out of the oven. This is one of my staples on my menu and one of my personal favorites because this is a farm catfish. It's very, actually, I'm going to leave it in the pan for a second. I wanted to show it to you. It's very sustainable. And before I take it out of the pan, I like to squeeze some fresh lemon on it and sprinkle some fresh herbs. So again, this is fresh Italian parsley that I've chopped. It's not very complicated at all, but it just gives it that extra little pop. And, very simple. The fish is spiced with a blackening spice. You could just use salt or pepper and herbs if you want to keep it really simple. And I serve it with a little oil and lemon juice on the salad. Salt, of course, a tiny bit of sea salt.
Awesome. Thank you. And how did you go about preparing it? What are your secrets?
So a hot pan, a really nice hot pan. Cast iron is great because it cleans up really well. And some of the iron will seep into the protein and it's not bad for you. And then a little bit of oil. I use avocado oil. I try to use an oil that doesn't have saturated fats. And then you just flip it over and put it in the oven and let it cook. So you don't need a lot of oil to cook the fish. You're essentially baking it, but you're going to have a nice crispy exterior because you started on top of the stove, as opposed to if you just put it in the oven by itself, baking it, it's just going to be a little bit more, like just a different texture. So this is what a lot of restaurants do that you guys don't know. We started on top of the stove and finish it in the oven.
Awesome. Thank you. And is there anything that you'd like to leave our viewers today with regarding nutritious food and making it really delicious? What is the one thing that you would recommend that they do and maybe stick to adopt this idea that something that is nutritious can also be very delicious?
Sure. If you have a tough time maybe eating enough vegetables, I know I do as well. Favorite way to eat vegetables, whether it's carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, squash, is roasting it in the oven with just a little light oil. Olive oil works great, a little salt and pepper at about 350 degrees. And really that's all you need. The roasting just makes the natural sugars in vegetables caramelize and it's really flavorful.
That just made me very hungry. So thank you for that. Well, Chef Tanya, thank you so much for joining us at Good Talks with Healthline.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.